Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, the podcast for conscious parents, caregivers, and educators who believe tantrums aren't terrible. They are powerful opportunities for connection, growth, and learning during the first 5 years. You'll explore how to use intentional language to raise calm, confident, and deeply connected kids, because the way we talk to kids becomes how they see themselves and engage with the world. Hi, I'm your host, Cara Tyrrell, classroom teacher turned parent educator and teacher trainer. Are you ready to nurture your children's mind, body, and spirit? Welcome, Toddler Tribe. Let's transform the toddler years together. Welcome back, Toddler Tribe. Oh my gosh, we're on potentially my favorite step of the 4 C's of collaborative discipline. Today, we're talking about the collaboration part. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. We're so excited to have you here at the Transforming the Toddler Years podcast. And you might want to hit pause and go back and catch up. There have been a few episodes that preceded this. An overview episode about the 4 C's with kind of an introductory story of that we're following as we go. And then we've covered the first C, which is connection. We've covered the second C, which is intentional communication. And today we're talking about collaboration. So if at any point you say, what's happening? I don't understand what's going on right now. Go back, listen to those few short episodes, and then come on back and it'll all make sense. All right, Toddler Tribe, you ready? Let's do this. Okay, so when we left off, Davey was standing next to his dirt bike. And we had an intentional communication session where I was not feeding his emotions, just narrating what was happening, what I saw happening in front of my eyes. Yes? But the bigger problem here still existed. Everything I had done so far to establish the connection, the trust and the respect and the honesty and the energy that we shared in that moment, necessary, right? It's the foundation for the success. Everything I had done using my words intentionally, yes, but not yet. You ran out the door, all the things. Awesome. Did it solve the problem? No. He still wants to ride the bike. And the answer is still, that's not happening right now. Solving problems with small people means that you are willing, this is important, that you are willing to listen to their needs, wants, and desires, even if you don't agree with them, and even if that's not what's going to happen in that moment. You must be willing to listen. You want them to listen to you. You must be willing to listen to them. I know. When I say it out loud, it actually just sounds like kind of duh and simple and of course. But think about all the emotions that go into the fact that we are the adults and they are the kids, right? That it's our job to teach and guide, that it's our job to be in control and manage. And then it gets a little more complicated when we think about it. So listen, don't think about it. Just feel into it. That's what we've done so far in this process, right? Okay, the problem still exists. And so what we want to do now is talk to the desire. That's important. Davey, I can see you really want to ride your bike right now. Don't be afraid of calling a spade a spade. Tell them that you get it. Yeah, I really do, he says. That you and I'm just going to keep feeding. Keep feeding. You really wish that I would say yes. Yeah, I really want you to say yes. Can you hear how I'm starting to invite his voice, his feelings, because I know what they are, so I can put words to them. What you need to remember is that, I'm working with a 6-year-old here. Yeah. But ultimately what I'm teaching you is that you can use this with 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. They definitely don't have words. And they might be able to think about their feelings, but they're not going to have the ability to put them into sentences. Who's going to need to do that for them? You. Don't be afraid of it. I know that when I say it out loud, it sounds like I'm kind of feeding him ammunition to be like, yeah, well, then why don't you let me? That's not where kids typically hang out. Once you've established the connection and you have grounded in that intentional communication that allowed him to feel his feelings, now you can put words to them. It is safe to do so. I promise you. Takes practice, of course. You really wish you could ride your bike right now. Yeah, really do. I really want to. I can tell how disappointed you are. That's a hard feeling to feel. What have I done? Have I very clearly communicated at this point the boundary is really not happening? Yes, I have. And I've done all of this. If you actually go back and pay attention to my words, I've done all of this without saying no. I didn't say no even once. Davy, we have a problem to solve. We've made it. We've made it to the point where I can name it and invite him in to help me solve it. You really want to ride your bike right now. I'm telling you that's not a choice. We actually need to move on with our morning because there's somewhere we need to be. How do you think we can do that? All right, I need to pause here for just a minute and recognize the, I'm going to say tendency, but it's even more than that. There's like this urgency that happens inside adult bodies. And as I'm thinking of it, I'm like tensing up that when things get uncomfortable, inside the uncomfortable, we just have this need because we want our energy to come back to center to solve it immediately. And that is something we want to do for ourselves. Not sure if you've ever sat and thought about it that way before. It took me a lot of years to realize that. Well, I'm helping them figure it out. Actually, what you really want is to go back to a state of ease where there is not conflict. So you want to get there as fast as possible. The problem is that when you are the one that's constantly telling them, I know how to solve this, without asking them what they think first, they feel managed instead of included. That's not the point of all this, is it? We're on the third C, which is collaboration. What does that mean? Who do you collaborate with in your life? Your coworkers, your partner, your friends, your family. Collaboration is a team. If you play a team sport, it means working together. And in the togetherness is where you problem solve. It's where you ideate and you throw ideas out, and like, he thinks maybe this is the right way to solve it, and I think maybe this is the right way to solve it. And the coolest part about when you say the words, just like I did to him, how do you think we can solve this? Is one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to actually have an idea. This is great. That's what you were wanting. If they have an idea, you get to validate the idea. That's a cool idea. I never would have thought of that. And by validating the idea, you are validating their identity. I'm going to say that one again because I need that to land. By validating their idea, you are validating their identity, and they think things like, I can come up with ideas. I come up with good ideas. I know how to start problem solving. I'm capable of these things. Does that mean that their idea is going to be the answer to the current problem? Not necessarily. Again, play the long game. Know where you're headed. That's where your cognition does help. So I said to him, do you have an idea of how we can solve this? Okay. The second thing that might happen is they might say no. No, I don't. I don't know. Okay. This is also good. Because in that case, it opens the window for you to say, well, I have an idea. I've thought of something. Would you like to hear it? Did you hear that last part? Would you like to hear it? Permission before solving. Oof. You give them permission. You ask their permission, rather. Would you like to hear my idea? They'd have no idea that's what you're doing. But deep, deep, deep down in those invisible relationship strings with the core 4 connectors we talked about, they're like, ooh, she wants my permission to share her voice. Wow, that's super respectful. I feel respected. I feel honored. Okay. Big stuff, right? Now, remember, I am doing this with a kid who's fully verbal because I think it's easier for you to understand as we move through each one with an older kid. But yes, you can do this with a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-year-old. The coolest part about starting it when they're that young is that you pretty much know without a shadow of a doubt that when you say, well, I have an idea. Would you like to hear it? They're going to chirp either, yeah, or they're going to shrug their shoulders at you, or they're going to make a smiley face. And that is also nonverbal permission. And you're setting the stage then for these more challenging conversations later. Ooh, I get excited just thinking about it. Okay, so what did he say to me? Big question of the day, right? What did he say in answer to my offer to share my idea? I got a really cool, yeah, sure. He's a 6-year-old boy. Yeah, sure. I said, great. I would love to share my idea with you. I said, I know that Dad's going to be home at whatever time he was going to be home. And when we get back, because remember, we were going out for the day. I was like, when we get back at the end of the day and Dad is here, I will stay a little bit later than I planned on so that I can watch you ride and show me your tricks. What do you think of that idea? And that did it. My offer so that I could say yes at the end of the day and that I would continue to be part of the process. And ultimately, I think that's what it was really all about. He knew, or he thought he knew, that if he had to wait until Dad got home, it meant I wouldn't be there to see it. And that's what he really wanted. He wanted to show me. So by feeding into the understanding of that and sharing the idea that I had to make that possible, it all worked. We were able to shift gears, no pun intended, that was a good one, and go put on soccer stuff and go to soccer practice and then go to the next thing that we had planned for the day, all with him knowing. And he occasionally said throughout the day, he asked me, just because confirmation, they will do that, confirmation. So I get to ride my bike tonight, right? Yes, you do. Ooh, I got to say yes. And then I got to say yes again. And then I got to say yes again throughout the day and feed that positive connection. Well, We are only one episode away from the conclusion of this cycle. And that might seem strange as you listen. You might think, wait, but you solved the problem. What else is there to do? That is where the teaching comes in. Now that we've reached the fourth step, you can actually teach the skill sets that they need in order to be successful independently, which is the ultimate goal, right? So that's what we're going to do in our next episode is I'm going to teach you how to then talk to and teach the skill sets. All right. There's been a lot packed into this 4-part, almost 5-part series, and there's so many action steps that you can take. You can download the free PDF that has the 4 steps, so you have it visually in front of you. You can go grab the mini course and write your personalized mission statement, so you have your core values and characteristics grounded for you as you start interacting with kids differently. And there's actually another option for you. If you've done those 2 and you were like on the journey and saying, what else? Well, I have a Transforming the Toddler Years course. And this is a 6-module course, and it will take you through every single humanitarian step, like the science of human connection, and lead to the successful science-based strategies that, of course, are steeped in intentional language that allow you to literally transform the way that your home feels, the way that your classroom feels as you interact with kids on a daily basis. So if you're ready for that, the link is in the show notes, and go have a read. Let me know. If you sign up, I can't wait to hear from you. All right, Toddler Tribe, until our next episode, you know what to do. Stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.